Chelsea Football Club and their future is now. You've got Enzo Fernandes scoring for Argentina. You got Moses Caicedo scoring for Ecuador. But the asset that most Chelsea fans are excited is Kendry Paez. And the reason they're excited by him, he's 16, he's got a goal and an assist, and he's been shining like no other. We're going to break it down. We're going to tell you why the two of Enzo and Caicedo are ready to contribute now, are ready to make Chelsea a team that we're proud of, a team that all of our standards that we set are going to get met, but why we need to be very, very careful with Kendry Paez. Very talented kid, but there is one thing that we need to take into account, and a lot of people aren't. Everyone's getting carried away. Wonder Kid, the answer to our prayers. We are seeing extravagant hyperbole, and it needs to stop. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Kavkas View, bratuki. Today's video is going to be one of excitement, one of relishing, one of praise, and one of Chelsea fans. We've got something to believe. And I think a lot of Chelsea fans at the moment are very doom and gloom. And I wanted to make today's video one of optimism, one of joy, one of satisfaction, and one of pure ecstasy. And the reason I say ecstasy is because we've got two of the best centre midfielders in the world playing for our team. They displayed it yesterday for their respective countries, and we've got a wonder kid that literally is stealing all the headlines. This individual is literally, and I'm not exaggerating, at the tip of everyone's fingers. Everyone's talking about him left, right and centre, whether it's United fans, Arsenal fans, Chelsea fans, City fans. Yes, City have fans. But before we get started, I need you lot to do one thing. I need you lot to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. It's a very key moment for the channel. I need your support. So it's the way we end the year is the way we start the next year. So literally 1,000 likes on this video will be greatly appreciated. And if you're new, subscribe, because what you get here is the truth, and you get me being honest as possible. I don't lie, I don't bite my tongue. I literally tell you what I think and what's on my mind. I'm not always right, but I tell you now, I'm 97% of the time right. Kendry Paez was signed by Chelsea Football Club, I think it was last summer. The kid was announced publicly, and it was a deal that was really worked up when he was 15 years old. Chelsea paid close to £15 million for a 15-year-old. Let that sink in. This is a kid that literally could go to school, do very well, and decide, you know what, I want to be a doctor, I want to be an accountant, I want to be an actuary, I don't want to be a footballer. Highly unlikely, I know, but literally, he could literally change his mind. But where have Chelsea found this kid, and why have Chelsea done it? Well, there was an RB Salzburg, the next generation talent tournament that was happening, and some of the best youngsters in the world were all brought to this tournament, and Chelsea saw his talents there. Chelsea decided they had to act now. Win Stanley, Joe Shield, Lawrence Stewart, they all just sat down and said, nah, this is a kid we need to pinch. We need to pay whatever it takes, pay over the odds now, but this is a talent we need to gamble. And you know what? It looks like this gambling is paying off. A lot of us are hearing the same complaints. Why are we signing these kids? We're spending so much money on kids, not developing the current crop. The team looks rubbish. Well, sometimes you need to spend money for tomorrow to be a better day. And in this case, it looks like we're spending money now for tomorrow to be a better day. And why am I saying tomorrow is going to be a better day? Well, Kendry at the age of 16 is currently playing for Ecuador's first team. Not only is he the youngest player ever to do so, he's actually shining in the team. They gave him the number 10 jersey, and he looks like a player that belongs. And that is very hard to find on a 16-year-old. If you look at Endrick in Brazil, he's struggling at this moment in time at his club team. However, for our kid, he is absolutely shining. He looks like he belongs. He's creating chances on a regular basis. The comps are getting better and better as time goes on. But what I'm worried about, and I think a lot of people need to be careful about, is that we're setting too much of an expectation for what this kid could become when he comes to Chelsea. It's one thing doing it in Ecuador, and it's one thing doing it against Uruguay on a one-off game. I think we need to give him time when he comes and develops into the English culture, the English football, and the pace of the Premier League. He's not going to be joining us for another 18 months. So not this summer, not this year, it's the year after that he's going to be joining us. So we've got time for him to develop, for him to grow into his adult body, and more importantly, develop as a man. He's a kid at this moment in time, 16 years old. Yes, he scored a goal. Yes, he got an assist against Uruguay, and Uruguay are no mugs. Uruguay are a very good side. They're a team that is very impressive with a very good midfielder, Fede Valverde and Ugarte. So we need to respect them. But at the same time, I just want us to have some ounce of realism. Do not make this kid the next golden boy. Give him time, give him space, and when he comes to join us, have hope and have a plan how you're going to integrate him to be a part of the team, not the team. And you know what? At this moment in time, I really hope Poch is still here at that period, because I don't trust no manager more than I trust Poch at developing young people. But enough with the future, time to talk about the present, because there's no time like the present, and we've got two absolute amazing midfield. Some would say world class, I would say great. I want them to prove that they're world class. Yes, we're going to start with the one and only Moises Caicedo. Caicedo got his goal for Ecuador yesterday, a very tidy finish, and more importantly, Moises Caicedo looked very, very composed. I watched the extended highlights of the game. He looked good on the ball, he looked combative, and he looked like an individual ready to prove a point and comfortable in the jersey that he's in. I think many people forget that Moises Caicedo is only 21 or 22 years old. Moises Caicedo, whilst he costs a lot of money, at this moment in time is very inexperienced. He literally has 18 months of Premier League football experience. He's got a year in Holland other than that. But we need to give him time. We need to give him a platform to perform. We need to give him individuals around him that could develop. Caicedo at this moment in time has had a shaky start to his Chelsea career. He was unfit to play against West Ham. He played the game. He looked very good against Luton, and he made a mistake that some people would say is not even his fault, some people, against what's called Nottingham Forest, and we got punished. It's a learning curve. It's a development phase, and I think this is where we need to be very patient as fans. I think he's a player that in the long term could be very, very useful for Chelsea, and with the transfer fee on his head top, he needs to hit the ground fairly quickly, because you need to understand, when you play for Brighton and you make a mistake, no one clips it. But when you play for Brighton and you have a great game, everyone clips. When you play for Chelsea and you have a good game, everyone says, you know what, that's as expected of you. You cost 100 million, that's what you should be doing. You have a terrible touch, let alone a terrible game. Everyone is clipping. And with Moises Caicedo, a lot of people saying he can't play 6. I think he can. I think in a double pivot with Enzo Fernandes, with a number 10 in front of him in the smaller games, that is the way to go with the midfield. Caicedo's robustness, his passing range that is developing more and more, his ability to, I think, even make late runs into the box and try to contribute to attacks is something that will develop. And I'm really looking forward to see the player that he's going to become. Honestly, it was so nice to see him get the captain's armband yesterday. He just looked like a very good player at a very young age and very talented individual. Yes, he's worth the money, but I think he's going to be worth it on the pitch as well. Finally, yesterday, Enzo Fernandes scored a beautiful goal for Argentina. It wasn't a long strike. It wasn't a strike of beauty. However, it was a strike of elegance and late running into the box. Enzo gets the ball, threads it through to the wide, little bit of an interchange, and his late run into the box to get on the end of it and just tap it in. It was Frank Lampard-esque, I would call it. Enzo Fernandes recently has been moved away from the number 6 and has moved to the 10 position or even 8. If Carney Chukwuemeka was still here, he would literally be playing in the 8, and I think that's where his best position is. Enzo can dictate a game by dropping deep and connecting the midfield and the attack. He can also go into the number 10 role and connect the attack with the attacking midfielders in and around him. However, I don't think that's his best position, but by no means do I think he can't do it. Enzo's very talented. He has a bite in the tackle. Enzo's ability to spray the ball around left, right and centre is phenomenal. It's best in the Premier League if you ask me, with his long diagonal pass. There aren't many players that can do that. And I also think his leadership capabilities are something that are going to develop, and in the long term he will become a leader within this Chelsea dynamic. A lot of people at the moment have been getting very frustrated. I'm starting to see it in our community, the Kavkas View community, in the comments. People saying, what has Enzo actually done? Enzo's just actively wasting his time. He's not doing much. I think you lot are being a bit hasty with your judgment, purely based on the fact that I think out of the 4 games we've played, 3 of them, Enzo's been fantastic, and some would even argue that man of the match in those games. Liverpool, he was phenomenal. Against Luton, he was amazing. He had a poor second half against West Ham, and his performance against Nottingham Forest was average. Nothing great, nothing phenomenal, nothing poor though. So we need to be open and honest. I think we need to be patient with Enzo as well to allow him to develop. But at Chelsea, it's hard to be patient when not winning games. Hopefully, we get an upturn of results. We got Bournemouth coming up. We got Villa coming up. We've got winnable games. We need to start picking up points. Poch, it's up to you to make sure we start picking up these points. I think Enzo is an integral piece. If he plays well, Caicedo plays well, we have got a very good opportunity in dominating midfields and actively, hopefully, our attackers will take our chances. Guys, but this was the Kavkas View. I hope at this moment in time you lot enjoyed it. I just thought we needed a positive video. We needed some realism and we needed some optimism about the future in Kendry Paez, and then we need to talk about the present. Enzo Fernandes, Moises Caicedo. So guys, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. If you lot enjoyed this, thank you very much. If you want to watch more, there's a video out on Ivan Toney linked to Chelsea. There's a video out on other incidents throughout the international break. So go and binge watch Kavkas View and chill. Peace out. I'm out. Have a lovely day.